What's up, y'all? Today we are breaking down a committed graphic. If you are interested in getting one of these, DM me. Make sure you have some nice photos. Honestly, hopefully you have nicer photos than the ones I used in here. I just need high quality. It's not about like the way the photos look or how he's posed, but we need like the highest quality photos you can find, as in not dark like this one, but I made the best of it. So make sure you have high quality photos. Shoot me a DM and we'll see if we can get it done. So this one, we decided to go with kind of a look that he had sent me. He sent me a few different ideas of the way he wanted it, and you know, I allow for like some inspiration and things like that for people to give them to me. If you want to send over some graphics for me to look at. So here we cut out all the photos, and again, when the photos are like not as high of quality, it takes a little bit longer because the Photoshop background remover tool doesn't work quite as well. So I had to use that and then go out and like cut them out basically by hand using the brush tool. And then here we're just doing a little bit of experimenting. I thought it might be cool to put another photo of him up in the top right, and I kind of like it. Like, I like the way it looks with that effect and how it kind of blends with the the California PNG that I put in there, but I ended up not using it. So here we're doing a gradient overlay, and I decided to make it black and then put a gradient overlay on it. And then this is like an effect sort of that he wanted me to use based off another graphic that he sent me. It was like him coming out of the California cutout basically. And so I decided to do that, then add some shading in on him so that it looks like he's like coming up out of the state. And then obviously we have the Caltech logo up there. Usually I just try to find the coolest logo unless they have a specific one they want me to use. So here we decided to use just basically regular text and then just warp it and put a gradient over top of it. And I ended up going with orange and putting a gradient on that. And then I knew I wanted it to like look 3D. So I put a drop shadow and ended up adding a few more elements to that later on. And I thought, all right, we can use this top corner for something, because there's like that cutout that the state makes basically. So I decided to put some palm trees up there in the background, set that to a certain blending mode to make it pop a little more. Then I added the shadow underneath the committed text. That's just basically, I duplicated the text, made it black, put a blur on it, and then warped it to look like it was the drop shadow of the other text. Here with all of his cutouts, I just want to make them all look uniform, because we don't want to basically highlight the colors of his old uniform, like whatever high school they're coming from or whatever college they're transferring from. So usually I make those black and white unless they want me to leave them. And then just because of the low resolution of the photos, I decided to make all of it black and white, because that kind of hides the quality of the image a little bit better. And so in this instance, I think it made the graphic look a little bit more clean. So here we decided to put some shading under his feet, just using a black brush. Again, notice how I brushed in a little bit of shading where his like arm is and the basketball is over top of the committed text to make it look like it's actually there. And then we used a blur on certain parts of him, like his hand and then the ball up at the top and the ball at the top right, to give the effect of like motion without like, you know, blurring his whole face and body, because that just makes it look kind of bad overall. So you can just blur certain little things to make it look cool, I think. And then I decided to add in this little texture. I think these numbers like pertain to something. I think it was just 0101 or something like that. I can't remember. Or maybe it was 001. But I decided to put those in there just to kind of take up some of the white space. And then I've used these palm trees in another graphic, so I decided to use them again here and obviously make them fit that no color theme. So I really liked how that turned out. They're kind of coming out of the same place that the rest of the cutouts are, like the state PNG. And then I just ended up putting the logo up on the top left side. And then this is like a thing that I have been doing in a lot of my commitment graphics, is putting their name somewhere where it's very clear what the name is. And then if you want to go in and add his name somewhere else, like I'm doing here, where maybe it's a little bit harder to read this text, or because of where it is on the graphic, it might be a little bit hard to read. I almost ended up just doing that and making it basically inside of the committed text, but didn't keep with that. But if you have text that's a little bit hard to read, maybe put it somewhere else as well, like I did down at the bottom, so it's very visible, because you definitely wanted the name to be clear. And then we just use the apply image technique to sort of brighten up some areas, make it pop a little bit. So again, if you want a commitment graphic, shoot me a DM, comment on this video, let me know, and let's get to work.